The prairie was shrouded in dusk, the last light fading behind a line of distant hills. Cole's boots crunched softly on the gravel as he made his way toward the old root cellar behind the ranch house. He'd heard the stories, how the cellar was cursed, how no one who went down there after dark ever came back the same. But tonight, he had no choice. The storm had knocked out the main well, and the only hope for fresh water was the old hand pump at the bottom of the cellar. He was halfway to the door when he heard a voice, soft, urgent, trembling. "Please, go deeper. Make it quick." Cole stopped, heart pounding. The voice belonged to Clara, the young widow who'd come to stay at the ranch after her husband's death. She stood at the cellar door, her face pale in the fading light, her hands twisting the hem of her dress. "Clara?" Cole called gently. She looked up, her eyes wide with fear. "I know it's asking a lot, but I need you to go down there. There's something I left behind, a box, hidden under the floorboards. I can't go myself, not after what happened last time." Her voice broke, and she looked away. Shame and sorrow etched deep in her features. Cole nodded, understanding more than she knew. He'd seen the way she flinched at sudden noises, the way she avoided the cellar even in daylight. "I'll go," he said softly, "but you'll have to tell me where to look." Clara swallowed hard, her voice barely above a whisper. "There's a loose board in the far corner. The box is underneath. Please, Cole, go deeper. Make it quick. I can't bear to wait long." He squeezed her hand, offering what comfort he could. "I'll be back before you know it." With a deep breath, Cole opened the cellar door and descended into the darkness, the air growing colder with every step. The lantern's glow flickered on the stone walls, casting long, shifting shadows. At the bottom, the silence was thick, broken only by the drip of water and the distant rumble of thunder. Cole moved quickly, his boots echoing on the packed earth. He found the loose board just where Clara had said, pried it up, and reached into the darkness beneath. His fingers brushed something cold and metal, a small, battered box. He pulled it free, brushing off the dirt. As he turned to leave, a sudden chill swept through the cellar, and the lantern flickered violently. Cole froze, every instinct screaming at him to run. But then he heard it, a whisper, softer than the wind, curling through the darkness. "Thank you." He climbed the stairs 2 at a time, bursting into the night air, the box clutched tight in his hands. Clara was waiting, her face etched with worry. When she saw the box, she let out a shaky breath, relief and fear mingling in her eyes. "You found it," she whispered. Cole nodded, handing it to her. "What's inside?" he asked gently. Clara opened the box with trembling hands. Inside were a handful of letters, a faded photograph, and a silver locket. She pressed the locket to her heart, tears streaming down her cheeks. "These belong to my mother. She died in that cellar, years ago. I was just a child. I always thought if I could face the darkness, if I could bring these things back into the light, maybe I could find peace." Cole knelt beside her, his voice gentle. "You did more than that, Clara. You found grace. You faced what scared you most, and you let someone help you carry the weight." Clara looked at him, hope flickering in her eyes. "Thank you, Cole, for going deeper, for not turning away." As the stars blinked awake above the prairie, Cole realized that sometimes the only way to find grace was to face the darkness together, and to bring what mattered most back into the light. Clara sat on the porch steps, the box in her lap, her hands trembling as she traced the edges of the silver locket. Cole settled beside her, the night air cool and gentle after the storm. For a long while, neither spoke. The prairie was quiet, the only sound the distant call of a night bird and the soft sigh of the wind through the grass. Finally, Clara opened the locket, revealing a tiny portrait of her mother, painted in delicate strokes. "She was so beautiful," Clara whispered, her voice thick with emotion. "I remember her singing to me, even when the world felt so dark. After she died, my father locked all her things away. He said it was better not to remember, but I always felt like a part of me was missing." Cole listened, his heart aching for her. "Sometimes, the things we try to bury are the things we need most," he said softly. You were brave to ask for help, Clara. It takes courage to go deeper, to face what hurts. Clara smiled through her tears, her eyes shining in the lantern light. I couldn't have done it alone. I tried so many times, but the cellar, it always felt like it was waiting for me, like the darkness would swallow me whole if I went down there by myself. Biam's fiend. Cole reached over, covering her hand with his. You're not alone anymore. Whatever darkness you face, I'll be there. We'll face it together. She squeezed his hand, gratitude and relief mingling in her gaze. Thank you, Cole, for not rushing me, for making it quick, but not making me feel small. They sat together, reading the letters by lantern light. Each one was a piece of Clara's past, a story of love, of hope, of dreams for a future that had once seemed impossible. Her mother's words were gentle and wise, full of encouragement for a daughter she'd never see grow up. If you ever feel lost, one letter read, remember that you are loved. Remember that you are strong enough to find your way. Clara pressed the letter to her heart, her voice trembling. I wish she could see me now. I wish she could know that I found her, that I found myself. Cole smiled, his voice warm. I think she does, Clara. I think she's been with you all along, waiting for you to find the courage to go deeper. As the night wore on, the fear that had haunted Clara for so long began to fade. She spoke of her dreams, of teaching the children in town, of planting a garden full of wildflowers, of building a life that honored her mother's memory. Cole listened, offering encouragement, his own heart opening to the possibility of something more. By the time the first light of dawn crept over the horizon, Clara had made a decision. I want to stay here, Cole. I want to build something new, something good. I want to let go of the darkness and live in the light. Cole nodded, pride and affection shining in his eyes. You're welcome here, Clara. For as long as you want, this ranch could use a little more hope. They watched the sunrise together, the prairie bathed in gold. The pain of the past was still there, but it no longer held Clara captive. She had faced the darkness, gone deeper than she ever thought she could, and found grace waiting on the other side. And as the day began, Cole knew that sometimes the greatest gift you could give was to stand beside someone as they faced their fears, to go deeper, to make it quick, and to help them find the light that had always been there, just waiting to be found. The days that followed were filled with gentle purpose. Clara and Cole worked side by side, tending the garden, mending fences, and bringing new life to the old ranch. Clara's laughter returned, light and musical, echoing across the prairie as she taught Cole the songs her mother once sang. The darkness that had haunted her seemed to lift, replaced by a quiet joy that grew stronger with each sunrise. Word of Clara's courage spread through the small town. Neighbors who had once kept their distance now stopped by with baskets of bread or jars of preserves, offering help and friendship. Clara welcomed them all, her heart open, her spirit shining. She began teaching the children in the evenings, reading stories and sharing lessons beneath the shade of the big oak tree. The ranch, once a place of sorrow, became a haven of hope and laughter. Cole watched Clara blossom, pride and affection growing in his heart. He found himself looking forward to each new day, grateful for the second chance life had given them both. He built a small bench beneath the oak, where he and Clara would sit in the evenings, watching the stars blink awake above the prairie. If you are enjoying the story, then please like the video and subscribe to my channel for more stories. One afternoon, as they worked together in the garden, Clara paused, her hands full of wildflowers. She looked at Cole, her eyes bright with gratitude. You helped me find my way back, she said softly. You went deeper when I was too afraid, and you never let me face the darkness alone. Cole smiled, brushing a strand of hair from her face. You were the brave one, Clara. You faced your past and found grace. I just walked beside you. She reached for his hand, her touch warm and sure. I want to build a future here, Cole. With you. I want to fill this place with love and laughter, with hope and new beginnings. He squeezed her hand, his voice steady. Nothing would make me happier. As the seasons changed, the ranch flourished. The garden bloomed with color, the fields grew green and strong, and the laughter of children filled the air. Clara and Cole built a life together, one rooted in courage, in kindness, and in the grace they had found by facing the darkness side by side. On the anniversary of the night they unlocked the past, Clara placed her mother's locket on the bench beneath the oak, a symbol of the love and hope that had carried her through. She whispered a quiet prayer of thanks for her mother's memory, for Cole's steadfast heart, and for the future they were building together. That evening, as the sun dipped low and painted the sky in gold and rose, Clara and Cole sat on the bench, their hands entwined. The prairie stretched out before them, vast and full of promise. Clara rested her head on Cole's shoulder, her heart at peace. "Do you think the darkness is really gone?" she asked quietly. Cole looked at her, his eyes full of love. "I think we've learned how to face it, and I think, together, we can always find our way back to the light." And as the stars shimmered above the quiet land, Clara knew that the deepest grace was not in forgetting the past, but in going deeper, facing it with courage, and finding hope together.